Ethan Cole had waited weeks for this night. After months of lonely missions guarding the Mars orbit routes, he finally had a few hours of peace and a holographic dinner date planned with Dr. Lila Trent. Lila worked on the orbital biology lab, and Ethan had admired her since training days. She had a warm smile, smart eyes, and a voice that made the silence of space feel less cold. He sat in the cockpit of his small patrol ship, candles flickering in holographic light, a gentle melody playing from his comm. The ship's window showed the red curve of Mars below, its dust storms swirling like soft smoke. For once, Ethan wasn't thinking about duty or danger. He just wanted one normal evening. Then the alarm screamed. The screen flashed red. A large, unidentified object was entering Mars's upper atmosphere. No clearance code, no signal. Just a streak of dark metal glowing with heat. Ethan's date vanished in a blur of static as his ship jolted sideways. "What the?" he shouted, gripping the controls. His scanner showed something huge, moving too fast, spinning out of control. Before he could adjust course, the object slammed into him with a deafening impact. His ship spun wildly. Lights flickered. Systems went dark. The crash threw him against the seat. Sparks burst from the console. He tried to steady the craft, but the engines were dead. His ship and the strange vessel were locked together, tumbling down through the Martian sky like broken stars. "Eject! Eject!" he yelled. The escape system kicked in. 2 pods fired away from the wreck. His and, strangely, another one from the other ship. Moments later, the world went black. When Ethan opened his eyes, everything was silent. The red Martian sky stretched above him. His suit warned of low oxygen. His comm link was broken. He sat up, coughing dust, trying to understand where he was. The desert stretched endlessly around him. Glowing rocks, thin air, and silence. In the distance, smoke rose from wreckage half buried in sand. His head pounded, but he forced himself to walk toward it. Then he saw something move. A figure stood near the broken metal. Tall, slim, wearing a silver-black suit that shimmered like liquid glass. The figure turned and Ethan froze. It was a woman. Her helmet reflected the red sky, but when she lifted it off, his breath caught in his throat. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, her eyes glowing faintly red like twin stars. She looked human, yet not. Something about her felt ancient and calm and at the same time powerful. She spoke a few words in a strange language, her voice soft but firm. Then she pressed her hand over Ethan's chest, right where his heart was beating fast. "You are mine now," she said quietly. Then, as if correcting herself, she added, "Husband." Ethan stared at her. "Excuse me, what did you just call me?" Her glowing eyes softened. "Bondmate, husband, same meaning." He took a step back. "There must be some mistake. My ship crashed because of you." She tilted her head. "We crashed together. It was fate." Before Ethan could reply, his scanner beeped. Rescue drones approaching from orbit. Finally help. But the woman's eyes narrowed. She looked toward the sky, her expression tense. "They come for you," she said, her tone sharp. "But they will take you from me. Those are my people." Ethan tried to explain, but she suddenly raised her hand. A wave of bright red energy shot into the air, blasting one of the drones apart in a burst of light. Ethan stumbled back, shocked. "What are you doing?" "They are hunters," she said simply. "You are bound to me now. They cannot separate us." Before he could argue, she reached into her belt and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. It pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. She looked surprised. "It is true," she whispered. "Our energy has fused." Ethan didn't understand, but the world around him started to fade again, exhaustion pulling him down. The last thing he saw before passing out was her face leaning over him, her eyes glowing softly with worry, not anger. When he woke again, he was in a medical bed on the Mars orbital station. The room lights were dim, and the air smelled of metal and antiseptic. His commander stood nearby, arms crossed. "You're lucky to be alive, Cole," the man said. "Your ship's a wreck." "We found no sign of the other vessel." Ethan tried to sit up. "There was someone else, a woman. She pulled me out." The commander frowned. "No one was there when we arrived." "Only your escape pod." Ethan shook his head. "No, she was real. Pale skin, red eyes. She said her name was Seraphine." The commander sighed. "Whatever you saw, probably shock. Rest up, pilot." But when the commander left, Ethan noticed something strange on the table beside his bed. A folded piece of black cloth, not standard issue. He picked it up. It was smooth and cool to the touch, like silk mixed with metal. As he unfolded it, glowing letters appeared across its surface. His name, Ethan Cole, written in alien symbols that pulsed gently with red light. He dropped it, startled. The letters faded, then reappeared like breathing light. That night he couldn't sleep. The stars outside the window looked too quiet. He thought about her, Seraphine. The way she had looked at him as if she knew him. The way her hand had glowed when she touched his chest. He remembered the word she used, bondmate. He tried to tell himself it was just the crash, the oxygen loss, the confusion. But something deep inside said it wasn't. He could still feel a faint warmth in his chest, like a heartbeat that wasn't his. The comm screen blinked suddenly. Static, then silence. A whisper slipped through the noise. "Ethan!" He froze. "Who's there?" No reply. Just a faint echo of breathing, calm and familiar. He turned off the comm, heart racing. Maybe it was interference. Or maybe she was out there somewhere, still connected to him. He looked at the folded black cloth again. It lay still on the table, glowing faintly. Outside, Mars spun silently below, its red light shining through the window. Ethan didn't know it yet. But that crash had changed his life forever. The woman he met wasn't gone. For the next few days, Ethan Cole tried to live normally on the Mars orbital station. But nothing felt normal anymore. His body had healed, but his mind kept returning to the woman with glowing red eyes, Seraphine. The doctor said he must have imagined her during the crash, yet the black cloak with his name written in alien letters still lay folded in his locker. It glowed faintly at night, no matter how many times he turned off the lights. Every night, strange things happened. The power in his cabin flickered. The air grew colder. Sometimes his heart monitor beeped faster without reason. He would wake up sweating, feeling like someone was standing beside his bed. Then he would hear her voice again, soft and clear, echoing in his mind. "Ethan, you feel me, don't you?" He tried to ignore it. He reported the strange power surges, but the engineers found nothing wrong. His commander told him to rest and stop thinking about the crash. Yet Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her words on that red desert. "Our energies have fused." One night, as he sat by the window watching Mars spin below, the lights suddenly went out across the station. The hum of the engines died. Only the emergency glow remained. Then he felt it, a warm pulse in his chest, like a second heartbeat. He stood up slowly, and then she appeared. She stepped out from the shadow near his door as if the darkness itself had opened to let her through. The same pale skin, the same red eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Her hair flowed like silver silk, and her expression was calm but full of longing. "Seraphine," Ethan whispered. She smiled faintly. "You remember me. I never forgot," he said quietly. "But how did you get in here?" "I didn't come in," she replied. "I followed the bond." "You called me?" Ethan shook his head. "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did," she said gently, placing her hand on his chest. "Your heart called mine. We are connected, Ethan Cole. The crash sealed it. You carry part of my life inside you now as I carry yours." He felt the warmth of her touch, the same strange pull he couldn't explain. It wasn't frightening this time. It was calm, steady, almost peaceful. But he forced himself to step back. "You can't stay here." "If the station scans find you, They already know," she interrupted softly. "They are afraid of me." Before Ethan could ask what she meant, the door to his cabin slid open. 2 security officers entered, weapons raised. "Step away from her, Cole," one shouted. "She's draining the station's power." Ethan turned to them. "Wait! She's not hurting anyone!" But the lights flickered again as if reacting to her emotions. The officers fired a warning shot, a beam of blue energy that hit the wall beside her. Instantly, Seraphine raised her hand. A crimson wave burst out, harmless but blinding. The officers fell to the floor, stunned but alive. Ethan stared. "You didn't—" "I will not harm them," she said quietly. "But I will not let them take you away." "Why me?" Ethan asked. "What does this bond even mean?" She looked into his eyes. "The Noctari, my people, were once the protectors of dying stars. We shared our life energy with others to keep their worlds alive. But fear turned our gift into a curse. Now they call us space vampires." Her voice trembled slightly. "I lost my home. Our sun is gone. Our people are fading. When our ships crashed, your heart's energy reached mine. It was pure and strong. It saved me, so this..." Connection, Ethan said slowly. It keeps you alive? Yes, she said. And it keeps you alive too. If I die, your heart will stop. The bond links us until it ends naturally. He didn't know what to say. He wanted to deny it, to believe it was impossible. But deep down, he knew she was right. He had felt her presence even when she was gone. Seraphine looked at the unconscious guards and then at him. Your world fears what it does not understand. The Galactic Council calls my kind dangerous. They will come for me, and for you, soon. Ethan ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing. If what you're saying is true, then running won't help. They'll find us, she smiled faintly. Then let them find us together. Before he could answer, alarms echoed through the station. A voice blared through the speakers. Unauthorized lifeform detected. Section C lockdown initiated. Seraphine turned to the window. They come. The metal doors sealed shut. Ethan's comm buzzed, his commander's voice shouting orders, demanding to know what he had done. Ethan looked at Seraphine, who now stood calm in the center of the room, her red eyes glowing brighter. You should leave, he said. They'll destroy you. She shook her head. I will not leave my husband, he blinked. Seraphine, I'm not... In my people's language, she said softly. The word means life companion. It is not about ownership. It means our spirits walk the same path. Her words silenced him. He didn't understand everything, but he saw truth in her eyes. She wasn't dangerous. She was scared, lonely, and trying to survive. Suddenly, the wall exploded inward. Armed soldiers flooded the cabin. Seraphine moved faster than sight, creating a shield of crimson light. The blasts bounced off harmlessly, lighting the room in red flashes. Ethan ducked, covering his face. Stop! Don't shoot! He yelled. The commander's voice boomed from behind the soldiers. Cole, step away. That thing is draining the reactor. She's not a thing, Ethan shouted back. She's alive. She saved me. The soldiers ignored him. One fired a stronger blast. It hit Seraphine's shoulder. She staggered back, the glow around her fading. Ethan ran to her side, catching her before she fell. Her voice was weak now. Do not let them erase me. He looked at the commander. Stand down. I'm taking her out of here. Cole, that's an order. The commander began, but Ethan had already made his choice. He grabbed Seraphine's cloak, wrapped it around her, and hit the emergency window seal. The outer glass burst open and the escape pod launched out into the cold night of space. The soldiers shouted behind him, but the pod shot away, disappearing into the shadows of Mars's orbit. Inside the pod, Seraphine's head rested against his shoulder. Her breathing was shallow, her glow dimming. Ethan held her close, ignoring the alarms ringing in his ears. Stay with me, he whispered. You saved me once. Now it's my turn, she smiled faintly. You are stubborn, my husband. Ethan looked out at the endless stars, knowing they were now fugitives from both human law and the Galactic Council. But he didn't care. Whatever this bond was, in fate, accident, or miracle, it was real. And he wasn't going to let her die. The small escape pod flew silently through the dark of space. Mars grew smaller behind them as Ethan Cole guided the controls with trembling hands. Beside him, Seraphine lay weak and pale, her silver hair falling over her face. The red glow in her eyes was fading. Every few seconds, the pod system flashed red warnings. Low power, limited oxygen, tracked by the Mars orbital station. Ethan knew they had little time. Hold on, Seraphine, he whispered, trying to steady his voice. I'll find a place to land. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. You should not have come with me. Now your people will hunt you too. He smiled faintly. You saved my life. I'm just returning the favor. She looked at him weakly. You do not understand. When I linked our energies, I gave you part of my soul. If I fade, you fade too. Then I'll make sure neither of us fades, Ethan said firmly. They found shelter on a small moon called Astra 4, a quiet mining rock orbiting near Jupiter. Its surface was gray and empty, dotted with abandoned outposts. Ethan landed the pod beside a ruined hangar and helped Seraphine inside. The air was thin, but the structure still held a little oxygen. For days he worked tirelessly, fixing power cells, sealing cracks, and repairing the old heating unit. Seraphine rested in silence, her strength slowly slipping away. Sometimes she would watch him from the corner of her eyes, a faint smile on her lips. You risk everything for me, she said one evening, her voice gentle. Your people will call you traitor. Ethan looked up from the power cables. Maybe, but they were wrong about you. You're not a monster, she lowered her gaze. My people once saved dying worlds. We shared our life energy to heal others. But when the stories spread, fear twisted them. They began to call us takers of life, parasites. So we hid among the stars until our son died. Ethan listened quietly. He could see sadness in her eyes, the loneliness of a species forgotten by time. You were just trying to survive, he said softly. She nodded. And now I have found a reason to live again. He didn't ask what she meant, but deep inside he knew. 3 days later, the silence of the moon was broken. Sensors screamed. A fleet of ships appeared on the radar, galactic council vessels glowing with white lights and energy cannons. Ethan stood by the window watching them approach. They found us. Seraphine slowly rose from the bed. Her strength had not fully returned, but her eyes burned brighter. They will not stop until I surrender. You're not going anywhere, Ethan said. We'll find another way. She shook her head. You cannot fight them, Ethan. They will destroy this moon if they must. Too many innocent lives will die. Then we make them listen, he said. No one out there understands what really happened. They only see fear. Seraphine placed her hand on his cheek. You have the heart of a protector. That is why the bond chose you. Before Ethan could reply, the communication screen came alive. A tall figure in silver armor appeared. A council admiral. Human pilot Ethan Cole, the admiral said coldly. You are harboring a forbidden entity. Surrender the Noctari at once. Ethan stood straight. She's not a threat. She's dying. She saved my life. Her kind drained stars, the admiral said. You endanger humanity itself. Seraphine stepped beside Ethan, her pale figure shining faintly. Your fear blinds you, she said calmly. My people once gave life to your colonies when your sons failed. The admiral frowned. Lies, the Noctari nearly destroyed the Vega system. Ethan interrupted. That's not true. She's been using her energy to heal, not harm. Look, he turned toward Seraphine. Show them. Seraphine hesitated, then closed her eyes. Her body began to glow with warm red light. The broken power cables around them started to hum again. Machines flickered back to life. Outside, the cold, dark mining fields lit up with soft crimson energy. I give, not take, she said gently. My power restores, but every time I use it, my life shortens. The admiral was silent. His face showed uncertainty, but he quickly masked it. Even if that were true, the council will not risk another collapse. Prepare to be boarded. The screen went dark. Ethan turned to Seraphine. They won't listen. We have to escape again, she shook her head. Running will only bring more death. It is time to end this. She stepped toward the main generator and placed her hand over it. The red light spread across the walls like flowing veins. Ethan felt his chest tighten as the same light glowed under his skin. Seraphine, stop. You'll burn yourself out. She looked back with a peaceful smile. You once said you would not let me die alone. Then live with me in this moment. A deep hum filled the base. Outside, the sky turned bright as Seraphine's energy reached beyond the moon, touching the surrounding ships. Their engines flickered, then stabilized. Systems that had failed for years came alive. Even the faint sun near Jupiter brightened for a moment, its light reflecting across the dark sky. Ethan could feel her slipping away. He ran forward and caught her in his arms. Please don't go. There has to be another way. Her voice was barely a whisper. Do you feel it? The bond lets me give without dying now, because you share the energy with me. He didn't understand, but he could feel it. His own heartbeat matching hers, energy flowing between them like light through water. Together they balanced the power. The council fleet stopped firing. The admiral's voice echoed through the comm again, softer this time. What did you do? Ethan replied, holding Seraphine close. She just saved your ships again. Silence followed. Then the admiral said quietly, perhaps we were wrong. The fleet slowly withdrew, leaving the two alone under the glowing sky. Hours later, the energy faded. The base was calm again. Seraphine sat near the window, her eyes glowing faintly but peacefully. Ethan brought her a small cup of nutrient gel, the closest thing to food they had. You did it, he said. You proved them wrong, she smiled softly. No, we did it. You believed in me when no one else did. He sat beside her, looking out at the stars. So, what happens now? We live, she said simply. We build something new. My people are gone, but I am not. And you? She touched his hand gently. You are my heart now, Ethan Cole, he smiled. You know, I was supposed to have a date that night you crashed into me. Her red eyes sparkled with amusement. Then I suppose I am the reason your date failed. Maybe, he said with a grin. But I think I got something better. She laughed quietly, a sound like soft music. Outside, the stars shimmered against the black sky, and for the first time in months, Ethan felt peace. Weeks passed. News spread across the systems about the event on Astra 4. The Galactic Council declared a truce, promising to study the Noctari history again. Many called it the Red Dawn miracle. On a small hill of the moon, a modest outpost stood where two figures worked side by side, one human, one alien. Together, they restored old satellites, helping bring light to dark corners of space. At night, Ethan and Seraphine would sit by the window, watching the stars. She still called him husband, but now the word carried warmth, not confusion. It meant friendship, trust, and shared life. Ethan often thought about how everything began. A date interrupted, a crash, and a strange woman who changed everything. He looked at her and said, smiling, "Guess you really did crash my date." Seraphine smiled back. "And saved your heart." The stars above glowed brighter as if agreeing with her words. And somewhere in the silence of the universe, their shared light continued to shine. Proof that even in the vast cold of space, love and courage could still rewrite destiny.